Hello, everyone. Hola. My name's Frank, and I was addicted to cocaine, crack, and alcohol. And I did about 7 or 8 months in drug and alcohol rehab. I was homeless. I ended up getting an apartment. We ended up furnishing my apartment. I'm clean now. I don't use chemicals. I don't use narcotics anymore. The reason I was saved and how I winded up quitting cocaine and crack is because I had no connections. I didn't know anybody. I had no connections. I didn't know anybody. The stuff I was getting at the end of my using days, the stuff I was getting was stepped on. At first it was good, but then after I lost my connection, the stuff I was getting on was stepped on. I didn't know nobody. And when I was high on narcotics and I would run out, and I wouldn't have any more and I'd want to do more, I still want to do more. What I did was I smoked weed to come down, to come down and mellow out. I used weed. So because I had no connections and because I didn't have a lot of money, I just fell in love with weed. And weed helps me when I feel like using, when I get bored and I'm sitting here and I feel like using, I use weed to kind of get my mind right. You know what I mean? I smoke weed to get high, so I'm still getting high. I'm not just sitting around. I still drink a little bit, but I don't drink like I used to drink. I don't drink heavy no more. You know what I mean? I might get a 12-pack and a few shots of vodka, but that's about it. And that's not every day. So when I feel like drinking and I feel like using narcotics, when I get bored, I usually just smoke marijuana. Marijuana is all herbal. It's not going to hurt you. So in drug and alcohol rehab, I met a lot of people. I try to listen to what they taught me. And I try to stay away from triggers that get me in trouble to where I wind up back in police custody. So, I stay away from narcotics. I stay away from heavy alcohol. I don't get wasted to the point where I don't have any self-control. And they're my triggers that end up, when I get back involved with these things, I end up usually in police custody or in state custody. So they teach you to stay away from triggers, why you wind up back in police custody. And that's the triggers that I try to avoid. Like I said, I was homeless for a few months until I found an apartment in my price range. And I got my own apartment. you know. But being homeless, you know, I make sure now that I got an apartment, now that my apartment's furnished, I make sure my rent's paid. I make sure my cable television's paid. I make sure my Wi-Fi's paid. You know, and I do my best to save money. You know, so I don't spend. These cigarettes that I roll are cheap. Well, they're not cheap, but they're cheaper than Newports. And yeah, I make sure my rent's paid now that I got an apartment, now that I'm blessed enough to have my own residency. But yeah, like I said, man, I stay away from narcotics nowadays. Drugs are bad. They destroy your body. Drugs are bad. They destroy your body. They destroy your relationship with your family and friends. Drugs destroy your life. And you die a slow and painful death with drugs. And luckily, in my situation, I'm part of the 2% and I was saved. And I don't feel like using, because I know what it does to the body. I know what it does to my relationships with my family and friends. And I know I know it's bad news. But weed never hurt nobody. Adult usage, weed ain't never hurt nobody. It's all herbal. Like I said, I smoke weed to get high. When I get bored and I think about using narcotics and drinking alcohol heavily again, I just smoke weed. I just smoke weed and smoke my cigarettes. I gave up drinking energy drinks. I used to drink energy drinks. I gave up energy drinks. I'm starting to be more mindful of what I put in my body. You know, I still live an unhealthy life. Like, I smoke weed. I smoke these cigarettes. I drink occasionally. So I still have ways to go in my recovery. But I stay away from the big ones. I stay away from alcoholism, narcotic usage, and that's about it. And I try to stay sober. I only drink a little bit. Like I said, I only drink like a 12-pack and a few shots every 2 weeks or so. But I'm starting to be more mindful of what I put in my body. Energy drinks are bad. I don't vape. I don't drink energy drinks. Trying to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Trying to exercise at least a few times a week. I'm going to my mental health doctors. I'm going to my drug and alcohol classes. And I've been in classes and doing my mental health doctor thing for about 10 years now. You know, I'm gonna just try to listen to what they tell me. You know, if you drink and you black out, that means you drank too much. You're only supposed to drink in moderately. You're only supposed to drink moderately. So if you drink too much to the point where you black out, that means you drank too much. You're only supposed to drink moderately. So, you know, I'm just trying to be more mindful of what I'm putting into my body. I'm trying to live as long as possible. But yeah, you know, you might be homeless and you might be watching this right now. And you'll get there, man. Don't give up. Success doesn't happen in a day. Don't give up, you know. Little by little, you'll get to where you want to be. It's a day-to-day thing. It's not going to happen overnight, but being homeless isn't the end of your story. Being addicted isn't the end of the story. There's a lot of organizations out there that offer addiction recovery rehab, that offer low-income housing. It's not over, man. It's just the beginning of your story. You hear me? All right, peace and love, y'all.